This is the news leader, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Well, you're getting your recommendation letters together, taking the SAT, hopefully doing really well on that. But there are a few more elements you should think about before you enter or apply for the college of your choice. Joining us this morning with some tips, very important ones, is Carolyn Reinach-Wolf, the founder of Campus Behavioral Health Risk Consultants. What are we talking about this morning, Carolyn? There are health risks out there at schools, and people should know about them, right?
Right. And there's also a lot of misinformation, so parents need to understand what they're entitled to, what their rights are, what the rights of their students are, and what the rights of the schools are. Right,
a lot of misperceptions regarding that. You were telling me a nightmare story that happened at one of the best schools in the entire world, in our country. What happened?
This was a situation where a mother became concerned about her son. She hadn't heard from him in a while. She was getting calls from his roommates. We haven't talked to him. He's been acting strange lately. So she called the school and she said, I'm concerned about my son. Could you please look in on the situation?
Sure.
And the school said, because of confidentiality laws, we can't tell you anything. So she actually flew out to where he was a student. They wouldn't let her in his room. She wanted access to his computer, again, because she was worried about him and hadn't heard from him. She actually hired a locksmith to get into his room, an IT person to get into his computer, and found all of these writings that really concerned her. And it took several days before the school was willing to respond and file a missing persons and really begin to look for him. And unfortunately, by the time they found him,
it was a suicide?
They're not sure whether it was a suicide or an accident, but he was dead.
So you should look into, I mean, who do you ask at the school about confidentiality, about access to your child, about possible mental illness or counseling? What do you do there?
Well, parents should read the student handbook. They should be familiar with the student code of conduct. They should go to the school and ask for an appointment with the dean of students, with the counseling center. Most colleges now have a health center, certainly have a counseling center. And they should also make a visit to the campus law enforcement or campus police.
Sure.
Ask about what crisis intervention programs they have. Ask about what safety measures. Ask about how to be notified in case of an emergency.
And in this worst case scenario, you talked about how the woman was able to call the friends of her son. Definitely talk to your kids and say, listen, I want some of your friends' cell phone numbers.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. And friends or roommates' parents' numbers. Often the roommates are very concerned about their friends and their roommates and are a good source of information.
Excellent.
And of course, they're not bound by the same confidentiality that a health center or a mental health center would be bound by.
Good information. Not everybody does think about this stuff. Thank you so much. Thanks, Carolyn.
You're welcome. Thank you.
To review these tips that we just went over, we've set up a link on our website, 7online.com. Just click on the See It on Television link on the upper right-hand side of the page, and you will see weekend morning interviews and tips, and that's where it'll be. Jessica Taff is up next with sports.